Okay, so you've probably heard this phrase, right? Rich versus poor mindset. But I want you to just throw out everything you think that means. What if it has almost nothing to do with your bank account? That's what we're diving into today. A totally different definition of wealth, one that actually starts inside your own mind.
I mean, really think about it for a second. What if being rich was all about your internal state, your strength, your hope, your creativity, and poor was just that feeling of being stuck, of being limited, that has zero to do with the cash you have on hand? Understanding this difference is, honestly, the whole key. So let's break it all down.
So at its core, you're looking at two totally different starting points. A poor mindset is constantly on defense, always preparing for the worst, kind of living in a state of fear. A rich mindset, on the other hand, it's quiet, it's grounded, and it is deeply curious. It sees life not as something to be afraid of, but as something to build.
And this is where you can actually hear the two mindsets in your own head, that inner dialogue we all have. See, a rich mindset doesn't ignore risk, it just reframes it. It asks, okay, how can I make this work? But a poor mindset, it just shuts the whole thing down with, nope, that's too risky. So it's worth asking yourself, which one of those voices do you hear a little more often?
And this right here, this is the most important point of this whole explainer. This is not about labeling yourself. A mindset is just a pattern of thought. It's a habit you've practiced. And the most powerful thing in the world about habits is that they can be consciously changed. It just takes a little awareness and a little practice.
So first things first, to change a habit, you really have to understand it. You got to see it clearly. So let's look at the biggest, most common trap of a limiting mindset, and that is scarcity. And scarcity thinking goes so far beyond just money. It's this deep down belief that there just isn't enough to go around. Not enough opportunity, not enough success, not enough praise. It's like life is one big pizza, and if someone else gets a slice, well, that means there's less for you. It turns everything into a competition where you're always afraid of losing out.
So what does that little voice of scarcity actually sound like? Well, a lot of the time, it starts with this one. This paralyzing thought that you aren't ready. And maybe you never will be.
Then it loves to whisper that you've already missed your chance. You know, that the window of opportunity has slammed shut, so there's really no point in even trying anymore.
And finally, it takes away all your power by chalking up other people's success to plain old luck, making it seem like it's something you have absolutely no control over. These three phrases, they're basically the quiet theme song of a scarcity mindset.
And all of this leads to this really common habit of playing small. Now, playing small isn't about being incapable. It's about being afraid of just how capable you actually are. It's when you dim your own light and stay quiet, not because you have nothing to say, but because some part of you thinks it's just safer to stay hidden.
Okay, so we've looked at the problem. Now let's talk about the solution. Because a mindset isn't just something you have, it's something you do. It's a practice. So let's get really practical and look at the habits we can actually start to build.
These right here are the real habits of a rich mind. And notice, not a single one of them costs $1. It's about valuing your time like it's non-refundable, because it is. It's about seeing every failure as just a lesson. It's about being resourceful, setting boundaries to protect your energy, and, maybe the most important one of all, learning to ask yourself better questions. Just look at the power of that fifth habit in action. The questions on the left, they're passive. They're focused on blame or fear. But the questions on the right, they're active. They put you back in the driver's seat. They're focused on growth. Seriously, just shifting from asking, why me, to what is this trying to teach me? That can change everything. And here is a super simple, practical tool you can use today, the moment this explainer is over. It's called the yet trick. Anytime you hear yourself say, I can't do this, just gently add the word yet to the end. I can't figure this out yet. I'm not good at this yet. That one little word transforms a dead end into an open road. It's a tiny change with a huge impact.
So all of this leads to the final and, I think, the most powerful practice of all.
consciously and deliberately rewriting the story that you tell yourself.
You know, there is a quiet, constant narrator in your head. And for a lot of us, that narrator can be pretty critical. But here is the secret. Those stories feel like solid gold facts, but they are not. They are just sentences. And you are the author. You have the power to edit them. So what does that rewrite actually look like? Well, this isn't about toxic positivity or just lying to yourself. It's about making a grounded, honest shift. So instead of a harsh absolute like, I'm not good at this, you shift to a growth-oriented truth, I'm still learning, and that's okay. See? It's not a fake story. It's actually a richer, more accurate one.
And the key here is repetition. You can't just say the new story once. I mean, your old story has had years and years of practice. You have to speak your new, more empowering story every single day, little by little, until it becomes your new default setting. Because at the end of the day, your brain will believe whatever you tell it most often.
So let's end right here. You are not trapped by your thoughts. You are free, right now, in this moment, to think new ones. You don't have to change everything all at once. You just have to begin with one kinder sentence, one better question. So, what new story will you start telling yourself today?